get this show on the road. And hello, everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And this fabulous, fun panel that I have tonight, we have Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great. It's good to have you here. We've got Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hi, Mary.
Hi there.
We've got Bernice Bennett from Geniebroots. Hi, Bernice.
Hi.
You got your relative race shirt on too, I see. And last but not least, we've got Dan Earl, our family history guy, is here.
Hello.
We had to take a break for day 7 relative race because I was out of town, and it was spring break, so I think a lot of people were taking a break. So we are going to talk about day 7 and day 8 tonight, the happenings of our 4 teams, and kind of get caught up and up to date, so we're ready for day 9. I mean, it's coming up so fast. It's just incredible that showing off her shirt, that
subtle Bernice.
It feels like we just started the race, and here we are. We're doing day 7, day 8, and the relatives that everybody met, and the challenges and all those kind of things. So what was your takeaways? Anybody have a specific story from either day that they want to talk about? Mary?
I did. Yesterday, the episode 8 was maybe one of my favorite things ever, with Joe and Anthony in the car.
Yeah.
And he's driving and he just says, "That was so cool when she met her mom. That was just the best." And I mean, they're just totally reflecting on everybody else's successes. It was
it was so nice.
I just loved it. It was just so beautiful.
I thought so too. And you can tell when they all get together, and I think we've all just talked over the last few seasons how much we love that meeting at the end of the day, where they have their little Zoom call and they're talking to each other, and no matter what kind of trash texting they're doing and playing around during the day, when it really comes to that, they are supporting each other. They're excited for each other and who they're meeting. You can see it in their faces. You can't fake that. You can see it in their faces that they are so thrilled that somebody's met a sister or a brother or a mom.
But I thought there was a little bit of wistfulness. He was really being happy for them, but he said something about meeting her mother.
Yeah.
He said, "I know that something about, I know that's got to be awesome," or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, or maybe I was projecting, but I thought he's wondering if he's ever going to have that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think broke my heart a little bit. Like, as they're walking up, I can't remember which one of them was like, "I wonder if this is our mom."
I know, right?
And then I was like, "Oh, please, 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 please!" And then it was I was like, "Oh, Aunt Bobby's still great. I love Aunt Bobby." But like, oh man, like, because the show, it felt like they were setting it up to be like that moment for them, and I was like, "Oh, that sort of looks like the lady from the pictures."
Yeah, she looked an awful lot like her. Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it took them a minute to realize, oh, it's not, and to introduce themselves. Bernice, were you going to say something? It looked like
I was going to say something about the black and green team. As far as meeting their mothers, they both said almost the same thing to their mothers when they spoke about the kind of love that they obtained from their adopted parents.
Right.
And they wanted to comfort the mothers and letting them know that they really made the right decision for them.
Exactly.
But it was almost like identical dialogue when I listened to both of them share with their biological mothers how they felt and how they want them to feel okay. Don't feel bad for me.
Right. Absolutely. The decision you made was the right one. I was touched with so many things with those. I mean, Monica, when she saw her mother, Robin, she knew exactly who she was. And I mean, she was crying. She held Megan's hand and they walked up, and she was, she knew immediately who that woman was. And I loved that Robin had written her a letter when on Monica's 30th birthday, and Monica's I think it's 32 that she is now. And just to show her, I was thinking about you all this time, and how touching that was, to see that she had written her a letter. Laura, you've got your hand up.
Isn't that good of me? I kind of agree. When I was watching Casey with her, and there was something, I can't even articulate what she did, her gestures, etc. I felt that Casey was almost the maternal one.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that was offering comfort. And do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know
because
exactly.
she felt her mother had worried that the reunion wouldn't go well, and that Casey would have had some anger, and she didn't. And so she really was trying to, let her mom know it was totally okay.
Yeah, and all through the visit, I just felt like she was almost maternal towards her biological mom.
I love the picture that she gave her mom, and said, "Look, our mouths are just the same."
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround to get those pictures. I love that they both Monica and Casey were showing their moms the pictures of themselves when they were growing up, and pictures of the people that they had met along the way. And I just thought that was beautiful that they were sharing all those things with their biological.
Had to be bittersweet though for the biological moms to know, okay, this is everything I missed.
Yeah. Yes.
So it had to be bittersweet.
Right. But then on the other hand, what I did was it was that confirmation that what the choice that they made was the correct one, was the absolute correct choice for them. So I thought that was just beautiful how they were doing that. I thought it was great that Sean got to meet somebody.
Yeah, I loved the way that his relative, his cousin, introduced that. Like, it's like, Casey, I'm related to Sean. Just like after so many weeks of Casey, it was like, oh yes, the producers must have got to him first. That was great.
Exactly. I thought that was really good, and it's so sad because he doesn't know. He says he knows some people on his dad's side, but his dad died when he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a helicopter crash, and so. I loved how he was saying that, I do have all these relatives, but you never can have too many. And so it was exciting for him, and, sharing the trees. We had people sharing trees, showing, where we all fit in the tree. And I thought that was really great. So you could visualize it and see it.
I love to see they were showing the tree though on the little cell phone. It was just like it was.
That's what my husband. That's what my husband said. He said, "Do they not have a smaller device?"
I
know. When I saw that, I was like, "Poor Mary won't be able to marry this. She won't be able to go through it like Mary does."
No, I was trying to read it, and I was struggling. That's probably why I brought it up.
That was so funny.
You all think of that challenge.
Which one? Well, the first one. Yeah, the first one was they had to dress up, right? Or was that the second one?
No, that was on episode. Yeah, on the first episode of the two that we're doing.
Right. Okay, it's like I can't remember which was on which, but they were both hysterical. The one with the glasses where they had to look. Well, they had to look and see. It was fuzzy, something fuzzy focus. Yes, Mary.
But that is totally your thing. You want the guidebook and everything, but you know what? You could do just the fuzzy pictures on your computer.
Yeah, you could.
You don't need any props there. No, you just have bring your laptop and you're all
exactly
set.
That would be so funny. But what I loved is if they didn't get it, then they had to. There's a deck of cards. They had to flip the card, and it told them what they had to wear instead, and like kaleidoscope glasses or one like a bee's vision. But what about the horse head? What about the horse head? But was it Casey that figured out she could see through the mouth?
Yeah. I think several of them did. Right. But it was Sean that figured out to switch the binoculars the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was ingenious. Yeah.
That was very, very smart. Very smart. So these games were hysterical. And then the second one was the one where they had to dress up and they had to figure out who they were and what country. And I mean, if you don't know your flags, so right. Yeah. So that was really funny. And I loved Joseph and Anthony were just laughing so hard at each other as they had to dress up as a geisha girl or, whatever it might be. They were really enjoying themselves. They were really having a good time. So I enjoyed watching them laugh at each other.
And they really rocked that, the Vision one.
Uh-huh.
Team Blue did. They really seem like they're just flying through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were even surprised that they got it right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was a little annoyed because they said a computer chip and it was a microchip. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
the same difference. Give them that one.
Give him that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If they had sent them home over, I was going to have something to say.
Oh, yes.
They were 2 seconds away from
Yeah.
making third place.
I
Yeah.
was writing down some quotes and things that they were saying. And when one of the things that I wrote down when Casey met her mom, her biological mom said that she could be at peace where there was no peace before. And I just loved that, meeting her daughter, bringing the two of them together, brought her peace where there was no peace before. That just really touched my heart.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, all this wondering, how is she, what, did I
Right.
do the right thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Devin got to meet another relative again. So that was great. He got to meet a cousin. And again, they keep telling him, we don't know if we're ever going to figure out which one of these, 9 males, whichever one of these. And they said two of them they can't find. Two of them they just can't find.
I thought that was really kind of cool because that happens. We can't, everything's not magical. And I really liked how he said, I'm at peace with this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I kind of know, like in the family sense, where I come from. And I don't know exactly the names or what have you, but I really liked how he was at peace with that.
Exactly. Mary?
And the other thing I just love, like if you guys watched last night, when he was looking at Liz, when she was all happy, he just loves her. He's so sweet and just seems so happy for what she discovers.
Exactly. Mary, were you going to say something?
Yeah. I mean, so, they say they don't know which it is, but it really is a matter of DNA tests and 1900 centimorgans or 3500 centimorgans, and if you test everybody and they're all 1900, then you can tell by process of elimination.
But they have 2 that they can't eliminate.
And I think that's the problem. They've got the 2 that they can't find. And I agree. I think that's the issue, is they can't find those 2. So they can't. But did it, I still have to wonder, do any of those 2 have kids that you can
exactly
right. Exactly.
Right. So half brothers are first cousins,
Exactly.
And then also they have
the
to be
numbers
willing
are
to test.
pretty.
Yes, they have to be willing to test.
They have to be willing to test. We can't just hog time and.
Oh, we could, but
we could,
I'm
but
so happy to hear Elizabeth talk about the awesome Willis family.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I said, I'm so happy for her because every sibling is just like, okay, I closed my eyes, I woke up and here they are all here. And when I saw her sister, she knew who her sister was.
Oh, and they both ran to each other. I was sobbing.
Yep, the Philadelphia became the city of sisterly love.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And she was thrilled because they only live about an hour apart.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And those 2 little girls, they were so excited.
Oh,
they
were
so excited to have nieces. And
yeah, it's just that her story is beautiful. And I hope it continues to work out as well as it did when they met. I hope they can continue and build on that relationship. It looks like they can. They look like they've got those personalities that will be able to do that. But I just thought that was just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Beautiful family.
Beautiful family.
Oh my God, an amazing family, really.
Yeah. And not, it takes a lot to accept that, your father's got another child out there somewhere that you didn't know. And so they have just done an amazing job of, and her sister's name was Jen, that she met on day 8, and she said, we've been waiting for you since they found out that she was there. We have just been waiting for you to get here so we can meet you. And what a wonderful thought to know that they found out and they wanted to meet you so badly. It wasn't just out of curiosity and, oh my gosh, Dad had this other daughter. It was a true, let's welcome her into the family. So, and she's had quite the welcome. She also, they got the text that morning, even though they had immunity, they thought maybe they could sleep in. And Devin says, no, when you get immunity, you have breakfast in bed. You don't get a text early. And it said, you know, come, we've got somebody special for you to meet. And it was to the cemetery, and her father was there, and her aunts, and that was her grandmother's grave. And her dad said, because of her, I'm here and you're here. And so he had flowers and all that. So I thought that was a beautiful moment too. So Liz has had such an amazing journey.
She's won.
And
Even if she doesn't get the money, she's won.
Oh, she's won.
The thing with her, and looking at her brother, I mean, they look so much alike. And how is that to, you know, the people around you, nobody looks like you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody that you're with
Everybody,
looks like
like
you.
she said, those cheeks, they've all got those big cheeks.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like we have an aunt in my family who we all say her genes are very expressive. Because it's like some people, they don't pass on really specific or really noticeable traits. And then other people really do.
Yeah.
Well,
just glance at them and say, you're related.
Right.
Joke about my kids. I don't make them, I just carry them because they all look like my husband.
That is so funny. That is really, really funny. Oh gosh.
Can we go back to when the brothers met? Daniel's his name, right?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Yes.
Let's go back to that. We have to relive. That's worth reliving a lot of times.
Yes.
Yeah, and what I loved was not even from episode 7 with that, but was from episode 8, where they showed them jumping into the pool and just being brothers. Like what was denied them for 20 plus years, they got to experience in less than a day.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just that to me was just amazing. Just that shot of, I think it was Daniel holding the GoPro with all 3 of them jumping into the water. It's like, come on.
No, that's what you do when you're in Florida. And
right.
Exactly.
But still, that's like Emmy winning material.
Yeah.
You know? That's they need to be nominated.
I love the embraces. I was so happy to see them hug. Hug.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's uncanny was the fact that Daniel had said that he was planning on hiring a private detective to find those boys when he was starting to save up money when he got contacted from the show. Oh my gosh, that just gave me chills when he said that, you know?
Well, he also said he lived with his mother for a couple of years. And I wonder if that's when he found out.
Probably, because he said that he was raised by his father, that he was taken away from his mom. So it sounds like, because we heard that there were 5 kids, so they all must have at some point have been taken away. And so I wonder if they're going to be able to meet any more of those siblings. You know, we've only got one more show for them to meet people, so I'm wondering if it's going to be more siblings or who it's going to be. But
didn't Daniel say something about we'll get everybody together? Or he did say, he did say. But I was just really touched how happy he was to meet them.
Yeah, he was thrilled, wasn't he? He
was so happy, and just the fact that he told them that their mom was an interesting person, you know. Yeah. He had this perspective on her that was different than everybody else's.
Yeah, because he'd lived with her for a couple of years. Yeah.
But he knew her kind of adult to adult, even though an older adult, but he knew her as a child growing up. So it's just very interesting. But the immediate bond between those 3.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And he also could tell them that she remembered them and cared for them and loved them. And, you know, even though she had to do what she had to do, you know, she still thought about them and people knew about them. And so everybody that they've met knew about them. It wasn't like anybody saying, we didn't even know you existed. You know, they all knew. So, you know, and all talked about them, and several said, we just didn't know how to find you. So that's got to feel comforting. And as they met their aunt in episode 8, you know, there was that question of, you know, how did we get where we are now? How did I get my cerebral palsy? And get some comfort from that no, your mom didn't abuse you, you know, that.
Yeah, I felt like there's still a lot of unanswered questions because I thought they were adopted when they were 2.
Yeah. So where were they between?
And if
Or
they're
it could have taken that long. It could have taken that long to go from being a foster child in someone's home to that home being able to.
right, so there was like an intermediate step.
There
And so
may not have been, but there may not have been, is what I'm saying. Sometimes a child is placed into a home as a foster child and it's a foster adopt situation, but you
Sure.
still have to jump through the hoops with the court. It can still take a couple of years for that adoption to become final. So they may have been in another home, or they may have gone straight from their biological mom to this adoptive home, and it just took a while to become final.
Because when they originally said that they were adopted at 2, I kind of in my head just made the assumption, oh, well, they were taken away from their mother around that time. And so I was surprised to hear Aunt Bobby say, oh, she didn't have you in her care long enough for, you know, any kind of medical problem to develop.
Right. Well, and how long a day it could happen, but you know what I'm saying? So I guess.
Well, I guess I didn't really truly understand that answer, I guess, now that you say that.
Right. So, yeah, so we really don't know. I did, because they said this is what our adoptive mom told us. That's probably what the adoptive mom was told. You know, that's probably whether it was true or not, that's probably what she was told. They were taken out because they were abused, and that's what caused his cerebral palsy. But
yeah, but the fact that
we don't
the aunt said that they were both premature, I don't think that we'd known that before.
He did say too, you had such medical issues.
Yeah,
like both of them did. Yeah.
So there's a lot there, and you're not going to go on camera and say, oh, well, she may have. You're not going to do that, and she didn't know. You know, she didn't know, and so there's a lot to that we don't know. But at least I think it helped him to have peace, because the last thing you want is to think that your biological mom did something to cause this.
Especially, well, at least they've ruled out that it was intentional.
Right. That, that something that affected you the rest of your life, you don't want to hear that. So I think that, I don't think that either one of those boys, though, is going to have complete peace until they meet and talk to their biological mom, whether it is on the show or after the show wraps up. I don't think either one of them is going to have that closure that they need and really get the answers that, if she's even able to give them the answers. So.
Well, yeah, because now 2 family members have said that the mom has some kind of mental, and I don't know whether they mean mental illness or like intellectual, issues.
She had some learning disabilities. So.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah. But Daniel, Daniel said she's the sweetest lady, she said, I lived with her. She's the sweetest lady. You'll love her. So, she may have just been having issues at that time, and people they go through things in life that they get help for. And, she might be, just maybe a wonderful, wonderful reunion. We probably won't see it.
Yeah. So is there 10 episodes total, no matter what?
There's 10. Yes, there's 10.
Okay.
The 9th is the last one for meeting relatives, and that's the final challenge.
Right, and then the final challenge. So, when we went into day 7, we were scared that a team was going to get a 3rd strike, and by miracles of miracles, that didn't happen. And so, but what was really great was that the red team won, being able to video chat with anybody they wanted to, because they came in first place. They got to, on day 8, talk to their boys. How cute was that?
Awesome. Oh, that was precious.
It was so
little tiny things.
And good well they don't understand what on earth is going on.
Right. Well, I thought the red team on day 8 really took that strike with some grace. They really we would rather have not have gotten it, but we're also we feel mixed about this. Like we're grateful that we had the wiggle room to take it.
Right.
Go to day 9.
Yes.
Oh, is that what he meant by I have mixed feelings about it?
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's the way I took it.
That's how I took it. Yeah. Yeah. Because you'd rather probably go into day 9 without that strike.
Right.
But on the other hand, everybody gets to meet, that last relative on day 9. And this is the only, I believe this is the only second time it's happened. I think it happened on season 3. And so this isn't normal for all 4 teams to go into day 9. So I think, how wonderful is that? We know that if they get that 3rd strike and they leave the show, they still get to meet that relative. But we're selfish.
Right. We don't want to meet the relative too.
We want to meet the relatives too.
So do you think, because they don't tell them where they're going until the day of, do they have like contingency plans? So like, if the boys had 2 strikes earlier on, they might have eliminated a cousin and gone straight to the brother or something to make sure they had that story to air.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question, because they have boys. I know. Yeah, somebody needs to answer that question for us.
That would be Dan the man.
Yeah. So I don't know, but the boys have stayed in that Florida area almost the whole time. And so they probably could have done that for them. I don't know about the other teams, but the blue team has just been right kind of within.
Yeah.
Just that.
Well, and the brother Daniel asked them, are you going to move down here?
I know.
And he's like,
the second person that's asked them, you should just move. And
but if they live in Florida, they need a car. So it's a good thing they've got all this driving
experience. Oh, that's too funny. You're right. If they're going to move to Florida, they're going to have a car. So, yeah.
I am super curious what they're going to do about the challenge in day 10. Because, they did not start out in the same place.
That's right.
And so are they going to bring them all? And they are in such different places.
And
there's no way that they can all drive to a common place.
They're going to have to. I'm sure they're going to have to bring them after day 9 is finished. I'm sure they're going to have to bring them to.
Or will it be an independent thing?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It hasn't been before, but maybe
there hasn't been COVID before.
But there hasn't been COVID before, so maybe they will have them in independent areas. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. So, as we're watching day 8, I'm just dying thinking, oh no, don't let anybody. And it's like, you don't wish for the red team red to get a strike. You're not hoping that they're going to get that strike, but on the other hand, you are hoping that you get that strike,
because you don't want anyone to go home.
You don't want anybody to go home.
Had mixed emotions about it, right?
Mixed emotions, yeah. And so it was a fabulous way to end day 8. It was just, I was like, huzzah! They're all good.
But I actually felt less urgency for everyone but the blue team, because I'm like, okay, black and green have met their mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And the red, the Willis family.
That's right.
And so unless there's something for Devin more than what we're going to know, I'm like, okay, it's not going to be the end of the world for any of them.
You know what? That's a good point. But it would have been for Team Blue, because that goal that they have of meeting their biological.
Well, and there's still siblings out there.
Still siblings, right. So I don't know, maybe they'll show up on day 9 and it'll be like a family reunion for, their mom and the rest of their siblings or something like that. But gosh, I don't know. But, we got a little bit more of their story too, because from the beginning, they've just kind of talked about how things weren't quite right. And so I kind of felt like, was that from when they were little? But it sounds like it was years later when the adopted parents got divorced, and that's what started causing issues. And then the mom remarried and then had a child, and that's when things started kind of not feeling right to them. So it doesn't seem like it was like from the beginning that things were off. It sounds like it's just the family dynamics after the divorce, which is sad, which happens in families. And it's just sad. But it was interesting to get a little bit more of the story, a little bit more of the background as to why they have felt some of the feelings that they felt. But they did at one of the shows say they were grateful to come into that home and be loved and taken care of. So I think
they say in one that they always took good care of us, but they didn't love us?
Well, I think and I don't know if that's just the way it was cut, you know, I don't know. And so I'm wondering if I'm wondering if that's what caused the rift is the divorce, and that happens to biological kids. It happens to adoptive kids when families go through divorce, you know. So that was interesting to get more of that background instead of just, you know, we left when we were 18 because things weren't going well. I mean, so it kind of helps to kind of see where they are in their heads, you know. So just to get a little bit more background, but yeah, I'm so excited that we're going into day 9 with all 4 of the teams, and you know, we get to see who else they've got in store for them. Is there anything else? There's a lot that happened in those 2 days, yet the stories kind of converged, and it was just it was really like one day led into the other, and it was just a continuation of what happened the day before. So that was
I
really
felt like last night was really, because when I watched, I guess it was day 7, I felt like when it ended, like it kind of had so many things unresolved. And then at the beginning of last night, they resolved those in the mornings and stuff.
Right.
So,
and then we forgot to talk about Monica actually met another cousin, which was really great. And this cousin didn't know anything about Monica's side of the family. And so she was able to, I love it when this happens, when they meet somebody and they end up helping that other person learn more about their family. And so he didn't know anything really about Monica's side of the family. He says, I think I knew of one cousin that I had, and now I've got 5. So he was, and she said they all live within an hour of each other, so they can get together. So I think that's great. I think that's really wonderful when it's not just the family that the teams are going to meet. It's not just the team getting to know family, but the family that they're going to stay with, that they're meeting, learns about family as well. I think that's really wonderful. And I love that, pulling out the trees. This is where we fit. This is where you fit. This is why we're family. I love that so much, that they get in there and show that to them. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense when you say, I'm our grandfathers were, you know, whatever. And then of course, Sean gets to see that obituary of his great grandfather and a picture of his great grandparents. And so they could say, okay, these are both of our great grandparents, and this is how we came down through the family. So I thought that was really wonderful too, when they've got pictures and can explain it, and people saying, oh, this is so cool. This is family history, and this is how we all fit together. And isn't that how we feel, you know, when we're putting family trees together? This is family history, and this is how we all fit together.
Yeah. And I thought it was nice for Sean to have a family member. I mean, just to do the whole journey for your spouse is great, but just that there is something.
I keep hoping that Megan will find, you know, they'll find somebody. Maybe they'll do that on day 9. Maybe, maybe they'll have a surprise for Megan. That'd be really fun if they could do that for her. But don't you think? Well, is there anything else that just stands out that we didn't talk about, that we've gone over? I think we've talked about everybody met, and the emotions and the challenges, and you know, they both, all 4 teams had challenges driving and trying to find their relatives home on day 8. They all were getting a little in the car, and I think a lot of it too is they knew, you know, we can't get this straight.
The game's on the line.
Yeah, the game's on the line. And so that causes, and Casey told Sean, shh, just don't say anything. And he goes, I can't react. She goes, no, you're making me stressed out. Don't even react. So
And that is such a normal, I mean, I can hear hear my husband and I saying that, him saying, what, I can't react, and me saying, no, you cannot react.
Not right now.
I am not emotionally equipped for you to react.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I think that I think they're quite calm compared to what, you know, might really be going on if they weren't on camera, right? So,
oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
They have to be somewhat calm to even be candidates to go on the show.
True. Yeah.
Don't y'all think?
I think so too. You can't, you've got to be able to understand that this is a TV show, and I've got to be careful what I say, especially when it's BYU TV. You got to be real careful, you know? And so, yeah, to be able to hold your temper and, not be yelling at each other.
Know what we're not seeing, okay?
Okay, I'm sure
Right,
there's probably things where they have to,
I mean,
or hearing.
or hearing.
Right, yeah. We
I
probably
got to show
edited.
conflict.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yesterday in the car, the boys, one of them had a Starbucks cup and there was then like a big gulp in the back seat. And I was just thinking, you guys aren't stopping on the clock to get these beverages.
I hope not. I hope not.
Like, you can't drink all that. You'll have to make a pit stop.
You have to go to the bathroom sooner or later, right? Do you guys remember, if anybody watched season 1, one of the team members was wearing an adult diaper, so they didn't have. Do you guys remember that?
I remember that. Yes.
So
And they revealed it on TV.
Yes.
well, she was talking about it. So let's hope they've outlawed that, and because we don't want to know those things are going on.
Well, how would they enforce that? How would they know?
They wouldn't.
You're not passing the sniff test.
Oh, that's too funny. So, I don't know. I know that some of the people that come on, like Tristan, they've said, they stop when they interview them, and they, if one of the production crew has to stop for some reason, then they'll stop the time. So they've got to hope that their potty breaks.
And if they need gas, then they have to be able to stop. And,
Right, that kind of thing.
So it would be good if your production crew stops for Starbucks, because then you can
Exactly.
too.
Then you can too. Absolutely. Maybe one of the teams will answer that question for us and let us know exactly how that works.
Yeah.
But we don't want to know if you're wearing adult diapers. Keep that to yourself. We don't want to know. So, anybody else got anything? I am so excited for day 9. And then, to see who's going to take the whole.
I'm kind of not, because I know somebody will go home.
Oh, this is true. I know. But like you said, everybody will have met who they're supposed to meet on the show. So it'll be, and if there's other people that couldn't have been met on the show, they'll get that information too. And they'll be able to meet with them. Like we said with the boys, if they can't meet with their mom on the show, their biological mom, I'm sure that they probably know where she is and can hopefully get in contact with her, and they'll be able to meet her. Of course, like we said, we want to see that.
Oh, I think with the mom,
Yeah,
I'm okay if we don't see that. They might need that to be private.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I worry about the mom, and I'm okay if it's not appropriate for us to see that. I just
right. It would be nice to know if they eventually get to, but maybe not.
Right. Her sister
Yeah,
said
if they
something
post a
about her
picture-
being so fragile, and that she
Right.
really kind of had a break with reality, I think is the way she phrased it. And
Yeah.
she
Don't need to add that pressure and
No,
anxiety of a
absolutely
television
not.
crew
No,
and the world
absolutely not.
watching and judging and what
Oh,
have you.
exactly. Because people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to judge her. And so, she doesn't need that. The boys don't need that. Nobody needs to be subjected to that. So,
Right.
it's got to be hard enough just to have the crew come into your house when it's just a matter of, I didn't know you existed, or I gave you up for adoption because whatever. But if you've got any other issues, that would be so
Right.
difficult. And I admire everybody on here. I admire the teams. I admire the families who are so willing and open to do this on television and let all of us, lurk and watch and see their journeys, so I'm grateful that they're willing to let us into their lives for 10 days and learn so much about them and see their emotions, because I'm sure at the beginning they're probably like, well, I won't be crying. I won't be, I'm going to be tough and I'm going to make it through this. And then I'm sure, every day you'll be crying.
I'm pretty sure Monica didn't say I'm not going to cry. I'm pretty sure she knows herself. She probably said.
But you have heard some of the men on
Pack
in the
Kleenex.
past, right, saying I was going to be tough and I wasn't going to be crying on camera, and then they're crying on camera. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of crying that we don't see, that goes on. So
I would be crying in traffic.
oh goodness. Anyway, well, that's day 7 and day 8. And we are so looking forward to day 9 to see who gets to meet who, what kind of family connections, and what crazy, challenge that they're going to have to do, and then who gets to move on to day 10. And, when it switches
Where's it going to be?
Right, where's it going to be when it switches from family to game on day 10. But in seasons past, day 10's also been about family, because they've let family come back and participate in some of the things that they've been doing. And so who knows if they'll do that again this time. So you just never know. They like to switch things up on relative race so it doesn't get, so we can't predict.
Predictable.
Yeah, so it doesn't get predictable, and we don't know, we can't say, oh, this is going to happen. So with that, I hope everybody enjoyed day 7 and day 8, and we'd love to hear from you. Leave your comments and tell us what you thought and what you think is going to happen. What's coming up on day 9 and day 10. We will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.